it looks like they are playing, and so let's go over, and we are off to the races here. We have Gensink and Ty Kevin 83 immediately starting with the Sicilian defense. Gensink going with c5 in an attack on e4. Going after knight to f3, he decides here he's going to go with this move. I have the wrong audio here. Just 1 second. But it looks like he's potentially going to fianchetto his bishop there on... Yep, and he does that. He does go and fianchetto his bishop here onto g7, attacking this diagonal here. So this is what's known, for those unaware, as the hyper-accelerated dragon coming from black here. It's a very interesting attacking formation here. It's one that I had spoken to Gensink about in the last couple of days, and he had said that that was a plan that he was thinking about using if he went with the black pieces. Does go castling here on move 6 after the move 5 castle from Ty Kevin. This is already a very quick attacking game from both sides. I really like how both sides are developing here. White definitely has control of the center of the board. I don't like how his pawn here is stuck on d2. He's going to have to move this bishop. I would have, when he brought his bishop out, I would have rather have seen it come here to c4. But just because that is blocking in that piece. So black can get control of the middle here. I would like to see this pawn come out as well. Bringing the queen out to e2 does kind of give him double control of this diagonal here. Bishop here comes out to g4. So now that we've kind of blitzed out a little bit of the opening here, and that will... he does drop back here. I think that it might have been better for him to drop back to this square, just because of this move right here. This does block in this does block in the bishop right here. I think you just take actually you could go here and attack here. Just kind of ignore this. He instead takes with the knight. Which that's kind of what I'm expecting here. That's what he should do. Not really sure why we have... I don't know what Ty Kevin is thinking about here. Because this does seem like a very obvious decision. You know, take the knight for a pawn, you know, and he does so, and that's a trade-off. Black, despite being down a knight to 2 pawns, is actually in a pretty okay position right now. He does have this attack here on this diagonal. He can bring the queen out to a5, add more... Ooh, you're knight to e5 here. Okay, he takes back there, and that's a fork. That's a fork here. This is protected here. So he should drop the bishop back here. That actually, I don't even like that because of this diagonal here. Yeah, so you take here, and you pretty much have to just move back, or take here is. It's kind of an even trade-off. Or you could go here. This would be interesting if you went here, tried to get him to take here, and then take the knight. or the rook. Although I don't really like that so much because you're trading 2 pieces for a rook. I just like I like trading off here. I think that's probably the best move, is to just trade off, double up those pawns. Instead, throws his e pawn in front of the bishop. I really don't like that move. He could have gone here. I don't know. This is a very questionable position right now for white. Black is absolutely winning here. Wait, did he take the queen? Hold up. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that he blundered his queen there. Oh my god. Whew. Whew. Oh, I just looked at the pieces taken. I'm just like, wait a second. When did he take the queen? I was not even seeing it. I was paying attention to this square, didn't even realize that he had just opened his queen right up there. Oh boy, this is cleanly winning for black. And this is a weak pawn here on a2. He can march these pawns up the board. He can march this pawn up. I like the idea of pushing this pawn. If he takes, you can just push the queen up and get the queen into play here. And this, I would just move the king over. Is the safest play here? I mean, this is whatever. I don't really like it because then he just takes back, and then you have to move the king anyways, because you can't take back with the queen there because it's protected by the pawn. Just move the king over. Definitely the best move here. But this is a quick game. Both Gensink and Ty Kevin have only used about 2 minutes on the clock. Gensink does find the correct move, moving the king there instead of moving a piece in front. This is looking extremely solid for black right now. Okay, I would move... actually, I would either move the rook over or... Ooh, I would not do that. Now he just takes here on b7. And, yeah, he's got control of this file now. Now, black is still winning. Black is still winning. But he should have moved this pawn instead, going back to this move. If he moves this pawn instead, what this does is that protects this pawn with this pawn here, so he cannot take there, is the idea. He moves the bishop to get out of the way of the rook. Doesn't really matter too much. If he had taken, you just take back with the king, and that's a winning trade for black anyways. But he does open up this diagonal here for black for the bishop towards that weak pawn. Not a weak pawn on d2, but it still hasn't moved there. White should probably get this knight into play. If he goes here, that does attack this bishop. I don't like that move because of that. Queen takes there. That's actually check on the white king. That's just a hanging rook. If Gensink sees it, no, he does not see it. Instead, gives up that pawn for free. I don't... Someone explain? Someone explain? Like, this rook isn't defended. Like, there were 2 pieces attacking that square. He literally just moved his knight off of that square. And now black has a lot of options here. You can kind of just pick and choose. You can go here to knight c4, start trying to get your knight in towards. If he decides to take back with the bishop there, you can just take with the rook. Instead, he moves the queen over to attack this bishop instead. Fine move. Black is in complete control right now. Gensink playing a beautiful game here. Basically, yeah. And that's I would just, you can move the rook here. You can move the bishop here and put check on the king. There's a lot of options here. You can go here, take, double up the pawns, like, and that move is fine too. I like the idea of okay, and now you can kind of do that. You know, that does give up the knight, unfortunately, but this is still fine. This is still fine for black. Actually, what the knight can do now is, yep, exactly. Right as I was about to say it, rook takes on c2, now attacking this entire area for black. I like the idea of getting the queen into it. If you can get the queen to a4, maybe finagle it over here. Decides to go there at the, just take. Actually, don't take there because the bishop is protecting. Yeah, I would just bring the queen in. Bring the queen in here. Attack this bishop with the queen. What you can also do, you can also take this bishop, take this pawn here. If he tries to take there with the rook, you can just take back with your rook and simultaneously attack that bishop there on d5. Instead, he decides to go to b5. I would have liked a4 more, but this is fine too. This does attack the bishop here. This bishop's only safe. Actually, the bishop doesn't have a safe square. The queen is attacking these spots. The rook is attacking both of these. This rook is attacking here. Yeah, this is a dead bishop, and actually great awareness here by Gensink to attack this square with that sort of power that he did. This is just masterfully played right now. And you can take back here. Or what you can do, you can actually put check here, is also an option. Force the king up, force the rook down. He moves the rook over. Okay, this is fine. Again, really just a bevy of options for black. Black can kind of just pick and choose, and nothing's really losing here. Yep, and that was exactly what I was about to suggest, was bringing the knight up, attacking this bishop. Now this bishop would like to go to this square here, pin the rook, but now cannot do that because of this move here. Knight to e3 would take in that situation. So bishop probably should just move. Yeah, bishop moving back there is fine. Now, idea is maybe to attack here on f5 to attack this knight here. If it takes back with the pawn, you just take back with your pawn. Again, attack that knight. Try to get that knight out of the way at this point. Would be probably the preferred option. All right, so he moves the bishop on c back, and I don't like that, and this is why. You go here, put the king in check. You can bring the rook down, but then what you can do, so you go rook down, trade off the rooks, and then you bring your other rook down, and you've got a... Actually, you can't even do that because the queen is protecting here, so what you can do here... rook down. If he does bring the rook down, you just take with the queen, and that's a scary situation. Instead, decides to go for what I had suggested looking to do that previous turn, which is to attack this knight here on g4. Black's got a lot of options, like I said. Just, straight winning here. Now, both players are down below 5 minutes on the clock, but they have been moving fairly quickly. We are now just entering move 30, and this is where it's going to get a little more, you know, like the time is starting to tick down a little bit for White. He's taking a little longer to make a move here. He decides to take with his bishop there, just giving up the bishop here with either. I would say to do it with this pawn. Instead, decides to just trade it off. That's perfectly fine as well. Like I said, Black just straight winning right now, as I've been saying all game. And Jensen's just playing a masterful game right now. So hats off to him. You know, he did do a lot of research into Tai Kevin's main modes of attack, and it's really paying off for him right now. Yeah, I spoke to him a night or two ago, and he said that he'd like to play the hyper accelerated dragon if he played Black, or when he played Black. He did so, and it has paid off in spades for him thus far. I like the idea, just move the rook down, just move the queen down, either one right now. Because at this point, if you're Black, you can just trade off pieces. If you move the rook down, he can't really block with the rook, because then you can just take with the rook, or take with the queen rather, and that rook is protecting the queen. If he instead decides to move the king, you could just move the rook right here and kind of force the issue with the rook. And now it's getting to that point. Rook to c1 is still the best move here. He decides to take back with the pawn. That's fine. This is a passed pawn over here. It is weak, but it is a passed pawn. Another weak pawn here. Literally all the pawns left on the board are weak pawns. But this one is a passed pawn. There's no pawns on the G or H files that can protect against that pawn moving down the board. So keep that in mind. Do be aware of this. Yeah, Jensen, it looks like, doesn't notice. He's still protecting that rook, but that still is attacking there. Just something to keep in mind here. It would have been best for him to just pick off that pawn at this point. King needs to start moving somewhere this way, because sitting on this back rank is not doing him any favors right now. I think Jensen's idea might be to bring this rook over here, but he does need to be aware. Okay, and there he does move the rook down. Rook c1 check is definitely the best move in this situation. Force the king up. The rook cannot block in any case, and there is the check. Now queen actually can come to b6 to kind of continue attacking this diagonal here. What Jensen might do here is he might put something on one of these just so that he can get it over here to this file. What he could also do is he could trade off the rooks here, just continue to simplify. Or at least offer to. He instead elects to go with the queen here. Idea is to come over here to h4. Bringing the bishop up, not attacking anything. That is kind of an interesting move here. It doesn't protect this square at all. Doesn't protect this square either. Queen there would prompt either the rook to block or would prompt the king to come up to here, or to here. Either one of those. Oh no. That's mate. Rook g8 is mate. He missed it. Oh. I mean, it's the possibility is still there. Keep this in mind. You should bring... Wait, this is mate in 1. This is mate in 1. QH4. QH4 is mate. What in the... Oh my god. We just had a missed mate in 1. Jensing taking his time while he see it. It doesn't look like he is seeing it. Instead, looks to trade off the rooks. He does get in the way of the potential mate this way, at the very least. Oh, wow. Let's go to Ty Kevin and see what he might be thinking in this situation here.
I think that was one of the disruptions that works.
Hold on. We're back into mate in 1. I don't know what he was looking at there, but that did not look... That looked like a post game. What? I'm looking at the live game here. I don't know what he was looking at here. Queen to h4 is checkmate again. Because now that's protecting... This is just straight mate here. Jensing misses it. Holy, oh. Wow, this game's nuts. We are down kind of low on the clock here. Both players below 2 minutes. Yeah, that was a clear ladder mate. And now with moving here, that's blocking it. That pawn is blocking there. With moving that, he can go queen takes f3 to get in position for this. This is mate in 2 here. Queen takes f3. Rook takes on e5. Any move. Yep, here it is. Any move that's made here, rook h1 will do it. Or queen here. Queen here. Yep, there it is. Jensing winning with the black pieces here. I would like to say commandingly, but whew, that was a very, very, very potentially tight game. Oh, Ty Kevin missing the potential mate in 1 to turn everything around. So Jensing does take game 1. We will be right back here. Don't go anywhere. We are going to switch the pieces here. Stay tuned. Yep, and it looks like we are ready to go. Gensink getting the white pieces against Ty Kevin with the black pieces. Starting e5 here from Gensink. Now, and we get a Sicilian defense here again, this time from Ty Kevin. Keep in mind here that Ty Kevin needs to win this game to send this to a tiebreaker. If Gensink wins or there is a draw, then Gensink will move on in the tournament. So knight to f3, knight to c6, standard opening stuff. Gensink playing a little bit slower, decides to bring out his other knight. We're getting, so this is a closed Sicilian. Ty Kevin pushing e6 here. Ideas to bring d5, attack this pawn here, and trade them off. So we'll see what happens here. Now, white pushing his pawn here. I don't like that too much. It blocks off his development of his light squared bishop. Ty Kevin dropping his dark square bishop right in front of the king here, giving him two nice juicy diagonals to work with. You thought, no, that is Ty Kevin's webcam. He's just not moving very much. Bringing the knight to h6, I don't like that move. It's you're not gaining any control of the center with that move. And now with h3, that kind of limits your ability to really go anywhere with this knight. I don't know. This is still a pretty even position. Black should probably castle here. But okay, so white continuing development, going to castle here, assumedly. He does so. I don't like this pawn push here because now you're not able to put any pressure on this pawn here, on this d5 square. I don't know. I guess I don't really understand. This knight can even come here and use it as an outpost, sitting behind the black pawn here on d6. I don't know. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be very interesting. You've just given up your knight. You've just given up your knight. I mean, this is already a tough position for Ty Kevin. He has to win with the black pieces to stay alive in the tournament. This is, but potentially losing his knight here early on move 9 would not be good. I mean, even so, even if he misses it, the only move he can do is bring it back here, and which would block his castle. I just don't really understand this move to g6. I just don't. This is very questionable. But Gensink, let's see what he's thinking here. See if he actually does see this move.
Sucks. I'm super closed off. Move that up.
So Ty Kevin saw that move immediately after the push to a3. Immediately drops his bishop back to protect the knight here, and now puts his knight right into right into the center of danger here. Now, you don't have to take back right now. If he does go here, you can just take back. Instead, he does decide to take back there. I would probably take with the C pawn here, but either pawn is fine. He takes with the E pawn. Now, keep in mind that he can bring this rook over and potentially open up the open E file towards the king. A6 is that just A6 wins the knight. The knight can't move anywhere. Protected here from here. Can't move here because of the there. Can't move there. Can't move there. Can't move here. Okay. I would just push pawn here. Protect this knight. You can afford to lose here. Just don't. You're getting a second lease at life with this knight. Just push up and protect it. Again, A6. I wouldn't en passant here. Because en passanting, you just take back with the knight. Now you can do that. Because now the queen can't hit that knight because it's blocked here. That's a juicy move. Put the king in check, ruin the castle. Ginseng's still thinking. He's taking a lot of time here. Takes the pawn there. He takes the pawn back again, knight d6, but it's not quite as good here. But it still does ruin the castle. Because you did lose the pawn for that, and now you have a weak pawn here on a3. That's a little unfortunate for white when he had a nice little tactic. Man, this game's a back and forth. I'll tell you what. Black absolutely should castle here. Just now you've ruined your ability to castle. Now he's looking at this knight and he's like, well, now I got to get it out of danger. This is an open square he can go to, and now he's got to see it. And he does. Let's see what Ty Kevin's thinking right now.
Oh, that's weird. I'm surprised I don't have anything covering that, but it's not really a problem. Like, I mean, he can take a pawn here, but I don't know if I care that much. Because that just gives me, like, space to open up my... like, him taking the pawn does mean I have to move my queen.
All right, so we are back here, and he does take this pawn here. Puts the queen here, looking to attack this knight. This knight is kind of in a bad little spot, but queen g5 would have been a nice check. Instead, drops this knight back. It is protected by the queen. However, it's a little less certain than queen g2 would have been, or sorry, queen g5, which would have put a lot of pressure on the king to get away. Gets the queen into the fold here. I mean, very, very close game. Very close game right now. Both players missing a lot of potential tactics on both sides. Excuse me. So right now, if you're white, I would say just probably just try to get this knight back. Can't do it now with that move there with the rook. What you could do is you can move this either rook really, either of these rooks over here. Just get that rook off of this and try to force a trade off here. Get your own rook onto this open b file instead, and also get a little bit of pressure off of this knight and allow it to drop back here to b3. So I would say probably move one of these rooks over to b1. Otherwise, I mean, there's not really a lot of good potential moves here. I mean, you could be a little wary of this move here, because that would put both of those pieces there on this line towards the white king. I don't really understand that move too much. I guess he wants to try to attack an open e file, but this pawn isn't really prepared to go anywhere, and this bishop's got to get out of the way as well. I guess we'll see. He moves his rook. Now this knight, I mean, can just still sit there. Rook, I would bring the rook over here. Yeah, attack this rook here. He's gonna try to get his rook over, maybe. I don't really know what he's planning. It's kind of a very weird situation, but absolutely, I would say this rook particularly, because it's not really doing anything. At least this rook is potentially threatening this e file. So I would say get this rook into it, bring it over to b1, and attack this rook. If he decides to trade off, again you have an open attack here onto this file all the way down. So yeah, this is not what I think Gensink will do though. He's kind of looking at all his pieces. Now, keep in mind, he's down below 4 minutes on the clock. If he runs out of time, we will go to a 5-minute tiebreaker. He decides to push the pawn on G to G3, and now beautiful move. Doubling up these rooks here on the B file. Oh, I don't think I would have done that. I would have done this maybe, but now if he decides to go, now, I mean, you can't do this now because then takes, and then you lose your queen. Okay, bishop to h3 takes the pawn. That was a free pawn there. However, I mean, black is winning. Black is winning here. Again, black is taking control, not to the extent that Gensink took control with the black pieces in game 1. But here, this is a lot... oh, knight to g4, check. I mean, bringing this bishop out too. Bishop to... or rather, sorry, bringing this bishop back to c8. Or to d7, either of these here with this bishop. really just getting that bishop out of the way. I mean, because that bishop isn't really protected right now. I have a feeling he might bring the queen over here to d7 to protect that bishop instead. No, he does put the check on. Now, can he take advantage of it? I assume that king takes here will be his move, but that wouldn't be the best move because of I mean, that's exactly why. And now Ty Kevin in with the fork, beautiful fork, and nothing that white can do about it. Loses the queen, and black is now solidly winning. Doubled rooks here. His king side defense is kind of tarnished. I mean, I'm not gonna write white out of it, but it's not looking good. It is not looking good. So now black has a few potential moves. Bringing the rook down to b2 would be great. Put some pressure onto the king and skewer this this bishop, or pin the bishop rather, to the king. You pretty much have to move the rook over here or move the knight to protect, and he does move the rook to protect the bishop, which does lose the knight here on a5. Attacking here as well with the queen. Yeah, this is solidly winning again for black. Gensink down to 2.5 minutes on the clock. Decides to push his pawn on g up to g4. Queen can come and make an idea coming this way. If you bring the bishop into it as well, that's a scary combination. I'd like to see something like queen to c7, then idea of queen to f4, then bring the bishop down to e5. And white doesn't really have an attack right now. Maybe pushing that pawn, try to bait the bishop into taking here. Take with the knight, and then try to get the knight here. If he doesn't move these pieces, I mean, that would require a lot of wasted moves by black. It's possible. It's not likely. Yeah, right now it's just a rough space for white. Ty Kevin taking quite a bit of time looking at his potential moves here. Let's see what... oh, he does make a move. He pushes his pawn out to f5. I guess. And now if he moves this bishop, you're looking at attacking the king here. I would move the bishop here so that your rook is still protected by this rook. You are still protected by this knight as well. I mean, just keep an eye on this here. This is also a big issue. Actually, you can't even move the bishop right now because of this pin. So you got to move the king out of the way first. Yeah, I would move the king here. Potentially, I don't know. This is just such a rough position. You can try trading off now. Now that he's moved the rook, you can trade off safely. Ooh. Oh, the colors are incorrect. That's my fault. I apologize. It is like this. I have two different overlays here for each player being both, and it's hard to remember sometimes. My bad. My bad. So he does move he moves the king to f2. I don't really understand that move. All right, moving the queen down to c3. It does defend this this square again, but I don't know. It doesn't really add anything to black's attack, I guess. Gensink down to 1:30 on the clock. Moves the rook over to attack the queen. He might, if he moves the queen there, that's not smart. He should probably just drop the queen back to a5. And he does. Now Gensink again needs to make a decision. He needs to make a decision rather fast. Let's take a look at what he might be thinking of doing right here. Decides to go knight g1, followed up by Tykevin with rook to b3. The rook to g1 was actually the best move in the position, so very nice find there. Brings his rook up to g1. I think his idea is just to bring it here and get check on the king and just do something manually here, bringing his rook all the way around. Now, I would say just trade off the rooks here and then do that. He does so. And now you can do that. Not the greatest move, but I mean, white really doesn't have a lot of great moves in this position. At the very least, you kind of force black to do something. Don't move here. He does not move there. So good move by, well, actually, rook there, and that's, again, you're really limiting black's options. Yep, and black now needs to escape c7 or d7. He escapes there. Now, I wouldn't trade off this knight here for the sake of the check. He does that. Now, will Tykevin take? If he does, then it'll just be taken back by the rook. I would say to take it at this point. If you're black, you're up material by quite a bit of material, and it's just better to just simplify. He might not even see it and run away with the king again. I mean, yeah, he does. I would move this. You also could move here. I like this move, f6. Get the bishop out of the way, protect the knight from this potential there. Puts the king in check again. Gensink is down to 25 seconds on the clock. Keep this in mind. He's got to move fairly fast. Now, he does get 5 seconds added for each move, but Tykevin needs to be careful not to corner himself right here. B7, good move here. I would push that, and that would protect there. He decides to protect with the bishop, but that opens this check up, and now the king's got to probably run away in one of these directions. He does move away that way. It is mate in 2 now, and yep, and I think he's going to see it h2 checkmate. On the next move, regardless of what the king does here. And that's just a straight ladder checkmate. And Ty Kevin should be tying this game up and sending us to a tiebreaker round. Take, huh? 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 What? You had a Black wins by timeout, and we're going. We're gonna go to a sudden death game. White will be played by Ty Kevin in this game. Give us 1 minute while we set up for this 5-minute game here. Stay tuned and don't go don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. Once we do get it, we will send it right over, and we have it. So here we go. Starting with another Sicilian defense here. And I don't know what this evaluation bar is doing. It's going insane. But this is just pretty standard here. Interesting move F3. He does close off the Sicilian with knight C3. But we are getting some quick moves here. Bishop to B2. I guess his idea is maybe to bring this here and open up this diagonal. He does play A5. Quick castle here. Both these players playing very quickly. E6, I like that here. Again, he does fiend shadow this bishop, pointing right down here. And now looking to trade off these pawns. Won't be able to take back because of the queen here. So now Black has control of the C and the D files a little bit better. I'd like to... Ooh, that's a good fork here if he sees it. He doesn't. Pushes the B pawn instead, and that pawn push there will block it a little bit better. I would trade off is fine, but Black is solidly winning here. No, dude, no, oh no. Oh, and Ty Kevin just blunders his queen, and it's check. Oh, how can it get any worse? Oh, no. Oh, we're having a crazy game already. Oh, man, we are less than 2 minutes in. Gensink brings his knight out. He's going to bring his knight out into the fray here somehow. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I would just bring the bishop back here. Okay, he decides to trade off. Decides to castle. He's going to bring his rook here onto the open E file is my guess. Wow. Wow. This is already a crazy game. Yep, he does bring his rook over onto the E file. And Ty Kevin, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Decides to protect this bishop with his own rook here with a move rook to E1. But he can simplify a little bit. Bring this here. Decides to try to attack this rook. Make a decision. Yeah, I would just take. Yep, he does take. This will double up the pawns here, and it opens up this G file. Now, this is a scary situation here. If you're white. All right, now bringing his other rook into play. This I'd like to see him try to stack these rooks. Instead, that's exactly what Ty Kevin has decided to do, stacking his rooks on the D file. I would consider... Actually, you can just take this pawn here. That's an unprotected pawn. He's decided that he's going to try to do that there. Yeah, I would just bring it over here. Or just move the queen. Yeah, that's a great move. Queen E8 is a great move. Stacking and attacking. He may just take there. He does. And this is actually mate in 6. Rook takes on e2. Trade off the rooks would be a great move here. That would be the move to continue the mating sequence. Instead, he drops his rook back over to d7, attacking this square twice. Okay, and yep, that's exactly what he decides to do. Okay, takes the pawn there with the bishop, but this is maybe bring the queen here and try to get an idea of just he just decides to trade off immediately, which is fine. He's just got to be a little bit careful. I would bring the knight here, or to h5. This is solidly winning for black though. He is down to 2 minutes on the clock. Now remember, there is no increment in this game, so he's got to make some quick decisions, and he is not making a quick decision here. He does go to h5. Queen e1 check. Forces king g2. He misses it. Actually, maybe he doesn't miss it because he's got to drop his rook. He's got to drop his rook back here, or his bishop back. Either one. Or it's mate. He does drop the rook back. He might just take here. This is like I said, this is solidly winning for black, but black's got to make moves. Decides to push his f pawn. Check on the king. I would just move the king up to g7. It doesn't matter which way you go with it. He decides to put it into the corner. Not my favorite move, but it's fine. Now queen, come down here maybe, or just come right here, attack this bishop, try to get it out of the way. If you can get the bishop out of, actually this is a great move because you bring it here, yes. And now if he moves the bishop, queen takes on f3 is check, and that's a potential mating pattern here. That's checkmate right there, if he sees it. He's got 55 seconds. He's got to make moves. And the best move here is to check the king. Pushes the pawn. Like I said, black's still winning. This is crazy quick match. 2 minutes on the clock for Ty Kevin right now. So he's got a little bit of time. Again, mate in 2, put a check, or he might just come down here. That's fine too. I mean, obviously taking this one is the better move. Taking that pawn. Dude, you're at 30 seconds on the clock. You're solidly winning. You got to make a move. Okay, he moves his queen there. Okay. Drops his bishop back, takes the pawn there. Is that his idea? Okay. Pretty much one move here. He's going to continue moving his king up the board, or he can move it here. Just make moves. You're down below 20 seconds. You don't get increment. You got to make quick moves. White might just decide to flag, and he's okay. He's moving his king in. Yeah, you can't be dilly-dallying here. Oh, this is you got to move. You got to move. 10 seconds. You pretty much got to pre-move. Come on, Peyton, what are you doing? Gensink. You have 5 seconds. He's going to lose on time. And that's it. Gensink had a completely winning position and loses on time. So unfortunate. But this is why 5+0 is tough, ladies and gentlemen. Ty Kevin is going to move on in the tournament after that timeout. Quite unfortunate.